Conference will now be recorded.
Council on Thursday, October 16th. We'll begin with a roll call. Councillor Burns.
Present.
Councillor Pogwizd.
Here.
Councillor Lovendall.
Here.
Councillor Webb.
Webb present.
Councillor Rask.
Here.
Councillor Brennan.
Here.
And we also have with us City Administrator Radcliffe and Recorder Joseph Harrison. So now, please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We will start the meeting with any additions to the agenda. Does anybody have anything to add or change? Nope. Okay, then I will invite any citizens who have comments to make themselves known at this time. If anybody wants to voice a citizen concern. Did you have something on the agenda? Yeah. Come on up and state your name and, okay, speak into the mic.
Haley with Elk River Development. In that final order that was written, it looked like the last paragraph needed to be adjusted. There's the 24th and it should be 25. That's what I got.
Date correction.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw that too, and it was on my list.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, is there anyone online that has a comment that they would like to make during this time? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on. We have no we will begin, the next item is the consent calendar. So
I would move to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Councillor Rask,
Yes.
Councillor Brennan,
Yes.
Councillor Lovendall,
Yes.
Councillor Webb,
Webb, yes.
Councillor Pogwizd,
Jim, yes.
Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Okay. We have no presentations today, so we will move on directly to departmental reports. So Administrator Radcliffe.
Hello, good evening. I turned these in. Some of them are kind of retreads because it's things that I would like to make sure that we highlight, like the rights of ways, to make sure folks are cleaning those up. That's one of the places where we are definitely starting to get our ordinances and things back in order. And so rights of ways need to be looked at by the adjacent landowner, make sure they're cleaned up. And if they need to do major work, building a structure, doing something of that nature, they need to come in and get a right-of-way permit. So please help us get those safe and orderly. Yes.
Can I ask you a question about that before we move on to
Sure.
the other things?
Mhm.
Is there anything that limits the amount of time something can be sitting in the right of way?
So yes, there is. And basically we're trying to there's a committee that's together, trying to work with our police officers and with members of this board to say, how do we need to tune up our ordinances to make sure that they will be held up in court and some of our process and things like that. So it's one of the things that, we've been frustrated with and people have been very vocal about, but unfortunately in a lot of it, it's been difficult for our officers to do. And a lot of it before has been 100% complaint driven, which means people come and complain or write a complaint to me. And then I have to then trigger it to go. We're trying to streamline that so that our officers who are, they aren't deputized, but they're able to and trained to uphold our federal laws, our state laws, our county laws, and our municipal ordinances. And so we're trying to get that in better alignment so that those can be enforced in a reasonable way. So it seems to be one of those projects that is, you have to have the process correct before you can really move forward with it. Because if you just do it willy-nilly, then it doesn't really work. And so that's one of those things that we're getting back in order. Yeah.
Can I just go,
I need you to talk into the microphone because we heard before that
couldn't
we
hear
need
me?
to talk into microphone so people online
Okay.
can hear. Thank you.
You just mentioned trained in federal law enforcement, and I wanted to be sure that that isn't misconstrued by anyone as some of the hot topics that are going on today with local municipalities or state governments enforcing federal law. So there's no change in our policy.
Correct.
Okay. thank
Yeah,
you.
no, there's no change in our policy.
I want to just clarify
Yeah,
that.
thank you for that. It's basically just saying that our officers can
Yes, ma'am.
enforce our municipal code. So thank you for the clarification, because no, I don't, there's nothing
There's a lot
going
going
on.
on.
There's a
there.
lot going on with that, and we are not having any of that at this point. So,
I had a quick comment. If it's complaint driven and an officer goes up to the where the infraction is and says there was a complaint, that really discourages people from wanting, because then all of a sudden a neighbor called them out
correct.
compared to it just going up and saying that this is a violation.
Correct. And it's always been complaint driven. And that's how the process has been and the protocol has been. We're trying to make that more that the officers can just go enforce the ordinance without having to have a citizen call in and complain about it or to write in and complain about it, to make sure that it's just a more efficient system. And that's part of what they are to do.
Mhm.
So we're trying to move away from that, although people still can, write in and let me know about these things so that we can.
I
continue
think
with the
people
process.
have been afraid of doing that because it would become obvious that
Mhm.
who complained, and then
I think there's also some merit in signing your name to a complaint. I see what you're saying, completely agree, 100%. But I see merit and yeah, I don't like that. That bothers me. It's against the rules. What happens is in a small place, you end up with people claiming that we've seen it, discriminatory enforcement. And you'll start hearing it. I promise you're going to hear about it if it gets out of hand. But I would just remind everyone that we have a law enforcement levy coming up, and that we want to be really careful with how we proceed right now. Just throwing that out there as well, just for everybody to think about.
And I'll just clarify that as we talked about last time, Melissa mentioned we're working on that. Councilor Brennan is taking a lead to work with the Planning Commission and to start figuring out some of the questions that need to be answered. So hopefully it's a process in progress.
Correct. Also, something that's new, in our community, we've had irrigation meters for a long time. Some people call them garden meters or irrigation meters. Those were coming in all the time, the readings that people were doing for that. And so as we this last year tuned that up to make sure that has a better policy, again, on feedback from our citizens. And so we now have that. So our watering year, when you can use your irrigation meter to water, basically you folks decided it was from April through October. And so now is coming up to turn those readings in November 30th to get credit for this last watering year. And then in April, we ask that people send in their readings again so that we have just for this water year. So in past, we've said yes, or the ordinance that said, yes, you need to turn them in every year or you won't get credit for it. They were coming in at all different times. And so it wasn't a good system. So we tried to tune that up. But part of that is that citizens who own those water irrigation meters specifically need to report their readings in April and then again by November 30th so that we can give them credit on their sewer bill for that. So just calling that out.
Yeah, and that's friendly. November 30th is 2 months, right?
Yeah, but we're trying to
all
get
of
people to do
October
that.
and-
Yeah.
Is there going to be a press release about that, or is that on the water bill, or how are we getting the word out on that?
In this. And
Yes?
yes, it'll be on the back of the water bill and we can put it out to the newspaper, other
Okay.
ways we can do that.
It's probably a good idea just to get it out.
Mhm. We'll talk more about the community building later and some information there. And just to highlight, we do still have the finance consultant position open. We've put that into newspapers now, all in this area, because we had 3 people respond. I got another one today, so I guess technically 4. And all of them are remote. And so we're trying to walk the line to see if we could get someone here, because we really would like someone to be here like 2 days a week to help us and oversee that. Used to be, we had a full-time finance director. We have not had that for a number of years. And so we need more of that oversight so that you know what's going on, so you have the oversight. And so we're trying to get that hired. So that's in process. Just wanted to highlight that.
Is Ann Heath not providing a financial report for us any longer?
She did not for this month. She's actually now being the city administrator interim down in Gold Beach. And so she has sort of stepped away from some of those, but we can work on that.
Our auditor wanted more eyes on things too.
Mhm.
I think. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, then I will proceed with the mayor's report, which I missed the deadline this week. I did send it out on Friday, but it didn't get into the report. So I think Joseph passed it out to you. So I'll just go over a few items. I'm really pleased to report that it appears that we are on the recommended to fund list for the Oregon Health Authority's SIP grants. Those are Sustainable Infrastructure Planning grants. And that would fund a leak study and a water loss analysis for our water system, as well as a feasibility study for a secondary water source. There is an open comment period on this grant until tomorrow. And so I asked our friends at the port and Main Street to send in support letters. And so hopefully that means, hopefully we will get that grant. So we'll find out soon.
I'm sorry, did you say you asked the port to?
I did, yes.
And when did you ask the port to do that?
I asked Catherine last week and she did it this week sometime.
We met just the other day and I'll shake that tree and see what happens.
She said she sent it.
She did?
So then it's just like, a letter of support for a grant. So I
It's
don't,
just customary for a board to do that, but
Okay.
I'm
yeah, sometimes for quick and dirty things, I'll defer to you, obviously, to figure out how you want to handle that. And then John and Melissa and I have met with Marlon and Tina at Civil West to discuss the paths forward on the water filtration system issue. There's the need to come up with both the short-term fix, and yet there's also a need to do a more significant upgrade. And the bottom line is, like, if you want to go out and get state funding for infrastructure, they need you to do the big upgrade, not the like bubblegum patch. So we're kind of trying to sort that out. John is still waiting for estimates, some cost estimates and such. I've been talking to Erin Minster at the Soil and Water Conservation District about strategizing to stabilize the culvert up there ahead of the winter, and she gave a supply list to John and Melissa, so they're working on that. And we're also working on trying to figure out grants to get funding for next year. And talking to Willamette Partnership, a group that helps cities to do strategizing for funding. So hopefully that we'll be able to work with them. And finally, in addition, I met for the police levy work. I actually ended up realizing that there are several steps to that work. And so we started by meeting with the finance committee as the first step to figure out how much money is needed and what the tax rate will be. That's like the first step. So we had a meeting on that, and we don't have all the answers to that yet. We're still waiting for the new property valuation to come out and a few other items. So that's that.
Can I add one more thing that
Yes.
I missed? I apologize. when you set the idle meter update recently, you asked that I come back and talk to you about that, how that process was going. So again, this is meters that have been shut off for a long time, or that everyone needs to pay the base rate because they're hooked into the system. And so the logic is that everyone helps pay for the system who's hooked up to it. Again, that sounds like kind of an easy thing to do, but when you actually roll it out and try to do it, it becomes, there's a lot of nuance involved in that. And so there were approximately 38, 40 accounts that impacted. We've sent letters out to those folks. We've had some return calls. The hard part becomes when the owner that was here that had a water account sold the property or left, and then the new owners weren't here and they aren't going to be here, so they never come and sign up with us to start a new water account. So it's just sort of this phantom line that's out there with the meters. So what we're doing is having the public works fellas by book go and confirm the meter number. What's the actual meter read? Is there a sewer connection? Is there a water connection? To really get kind of reconnaissance on the ground of what's actually there. And then I'll be able to bring to you, because it's squishy. There's a lot of nuance to this. And so we need to have your weigh in also on, do you only count it if there's a structure there? Is it everyone that has a meter? Is it, how do we do that? And so there's some questions within that. So I just wanted to give you an update because it was something that you had asked, and that's what I know so far.
Work in progress.
Work in progress,
Can you
absolutely.
tell us again, how many idle accounts is it looking like? Did you say about 40? Or?
Yeah, there's about 40 that were ones that, because originally there was a list, and it maybe had been that an account was starting to be set up, but something happened with it and they didn't follow through with it. So it was still kind of on the books as idle, but it never actually came to fruition. There were 5 or 6 of those. So those were cleaned out. There were some other ones that Joseph, and as we were looking through to get information on what we know from City Hall of where they are, but then also now, again, we're trying to get the actual boots on the ground and what's happening. So yeah, but right now we're focusing on this 40 that we know about. So there's questions, and we've had people come in and asking questions about it. So that could be, I need that on your radar, that that's something that isn't fully rolled out yet, because again, it's more nuanced than it sounded. So
Great, cool. Okay. And just one last thing on the mayor's report, which is, Joseph, I would just request that you add this to the record for the meeting, so that, because I try to keep the mayor's reports in with the meeting so that we can keep track of things.
I had one question.
Yeah.
Do we have a contingency plan for the culvert failure?
We do not have a huge contingency plan for the culvert failure. We're working on it right now. We're working on trying to stabilize it. And there's a couple of ideas if like we had some emergency situation happen, but we don't have it codified in, lined up yet. There's ideas floating around. So
Are people feeling a little better about its chances of surviving the winter, or?
we're just hoping for the best. The short of it is that, it's been recommended that we take off the trees and put plastic over it and kind of remove some of the metal that's might be a collector for a branch or something, and monitor the heck of it and monitor it like heck, And so that's sort of, it's been there for a long time. It was collapsing last winter. So
I haven't laid my eyes on it ever. I don't really know I probably should do that. I don't know.
Well, if you want to, I'd be happy to take you up there. It's kind of out in the middle of the woods. Just let me know.
I will.
If anybody's interested, a small group of us could make a field trip.
yeah, and the things have been ordered that Aaron Minster asked about. So we're picking those up this week. We hope to get it in. And so Public Works is aware and working on that, but we got the materials ordered that Aaron thought we needed to be able to help stabilize that ground so it doesn't erode farther and faster.
How large of an area do they want to cover with plastic?
It's about, I would say, like side, like this room times 2.5, 3.
I don't know if it's that much. She wanted a big roll of visqueen, and we have like the bales of straw, 12 bales of straw, and we have the burlap like
Wattles.
wattles that you put, like if you were see hydro seeding or something where they have the tubes of, okay, we have those on order. We're trying to stabilize that whole area. So
Thank you.
that's the short-term hope.
Okay. And that brings us to the Public Works report. And I see, John, are you joining us online tonight?
I am here.
Okay, well, I'm turning it over to you. What are your highlights or lowlights? What do you want to share?
I'm just gonna hit on a couple of things. Filter, media under drain. I'm working with 2 different companies. Hopefully I get something back in the next couple of weeks. We're sharing documents, plans, and trying to come up with a solution here. So that's ongoing. That's kind of my focus right now. We did the new pump at Hubbard's, which was a really nice thing. It really brought our pressure back up and our flow rate to the plant. And we're making a lot more water right now. Of course, we're still doing a lot of backwashes because of the flow rate, but so that's a really positive thing. That's been kind of the highlight of the week. I will mention, I'm going to skip through everything but down. I'm going to jump down to wastewater because we had a lot of failures there. Oh, I want to say the first week of October, things went south rapidly and bad. And so we were able to make some workarounds and get it back up running. But we have some pretty major failures in the drives. They're Simmons drives. They're unsupported and they're out of date, and we're going to have to replace those like ASAP. We also found that the motherboard computer brain for the old system is rapidly dying, and that's what put the plant to alarm, which that's also what caused all the pumps to shut off. And that's never a good thing because stuff never stops flowing. So after a lengthy cleanup and some quick workaround, we had Jason from Tag down. We went through the Hubbard's controls, got those all worked out, and then we went over to wastewater. We spent a good part of the day there. So I'm waiting on quotes for the drives and the brain, if we can even find the brain. The only good news is the brain is actually an Allen Bradley product, so they're pretty good about it. But I think we're going to have to buy, and so is Jason, we're almost sure we're going to have to buy a refurbished one to get us through until we can afford to replace that computer system. But it's on its way out. The big news of the night that I'm jumping up and down about was I was able to tear a sticky note off my cabinet and throw it away. We got the outfall for the sewer done today. They found it. The dye came through, got a video. So that's a huge deal for me. That's was kind of a little bit of anxiety there when we couldn't find it on the first 3 attempts. Shout out to Tom. What's his last name?
Tim Foley.
Tim
Tim Foley. Yep. Him and the guys got on it right away. It took about 2 hours for the dye to actually travel through the pipe, which I had it estimated at about an hour. So I was about a little bit under 50%, I guess. But anyway, found it, got a quick video. So that should suffice DEQ for the end of the year. And I think that's really the important stuff. The rest of it's just, well, you can read it in the report. There's a ton of stuff going on. Ton.
Is there a way to mark the outfall so it's easier to find the next time?
Not really. It looks like it's probably less than 100 feet offshore, right in the wave break. So nothing's going to stay there. But when he pulled up, parked, dropped his anchor, we introduced the dye, and literally 2 hours later, he shot me a picture asking me where the dye was, and then it showed up, and it was literally like probably 25 feet in front of his boat. So he was right on the mark. So we'll get that data. We know the travel time of the dye now, so it should make the next evolution in 3 years from now a little bit easier.
Yeah, I was
Exactly.
thinking of the
Well, the
coordinates.
problem was we had numerous numbers. We had the longitude and latitude, but off of his and the depth and all these things, but there were some conflicting numbers was part of the problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Excellent. Very good. Anything else? Any other questions people have? I will just attest to John saying lots of things weren't going on. I mean, just my little glimpses of seeing what Public Works is doing is just, I'm always just amazed at all the things they have happening at once. So appreciate you and your crew, John. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'll pass it to the crew. They're making the team.
Yeah, excellent.
Please do.
I don't know. Yeah, we can- Okay, so where are we now? Moving on to planning. Joseph, do you have any mentions for the
Nothing in
planning?
particular. The planning meeting that was supposed to be this week got canceled. In case of having the meeting, the planning commissioners are going to be reviewing material that you previously asked them to look at.
Okay. So that's good. And now we will move on to the liaison reports. Parks, is there any report from you? Nope. Okay. Historic preservation, none submitted. Port liaison, Brett?
Right, so just the battle continues. Dave, did they get that one crane fired up on the temporary generator today? Do you know? Yeah, we brought in, there's another change order. The port took a line of credit and we're addressing another $70,000 unforeseen. There is no plans. The plans for the port, the entire thing, everything underground, everything is wrong. It's wrong. And there's no actual build to plans. So there's no, it's been a nightmare for everybody involved. Anyway, so we're trenching a new line in with some new power, and we took a bit of a loan for that. And in the meantime, the crane manufacturer has had someone here from Italy for a couple of months, and they didn't really want him to stay here any longer. He's got another project to go to. So they were bringing in a generator to try to fire the things up with generated power, just for proof of performance or whatever, you know. And then we're gonna have a big party, I guess. Get drunk.
Looks like they're getting there, so.
Something like that.
From the uninitiated.
Yeah, that's my update for the port. But
Okay,
the gears are turning.
okay, great, thank you.
Mhm.
Let's see, watershed report. I have just to mention that the Port Orford Watershed Council had a good work day at the end of September. They had a bunch of people out controlling gorse up on the watershed land. They are going to possibly coordinate with the Soil and Water Conservation District with Aaron, because we have another landslide area that needs to be kind of stabilized ahead of the winter. And also they're continuing to work on the bioswale at the visitor center. So if anybody is interested in helping or be a watershed council volunteer, you can be in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with Meg Humphrey, who's the current chair. Okay, fire liaison report. Councilor
Nothing.
Brennan, do you have something?
No, there's nothing really to report this month.
Okay. Boy, you guys, this is going to be like,
Delightful.
oh, we shouldn't, don't say anything, but you know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking. Okay, we are now,
You're not a baseball fan. Don't say it.
okay, we are now moving on to new business. The first item is to consider 8A, to consider the findings for the Elk River property development conditional use permits, 1602 and 1603.
I would make a motion to approve the findings for CUP 1602 and 1603 with the following changes. Under item 8, it looks like that would be the 2025 extension. And then under the last sentence before the signatures, that also would be a 2025 number.
June 16th, 2025.
Correct.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll give you a second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? And to just remind everybody, this is a decision, this reflects the decision that the council made back in, was it July, right? Or was it June, I guess? It was approved in June 16th. That must have been our June meeting. Took out. Okay. So yeah, but we approved it recently. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jim. Okay, so with that, I'll call for the vote. Councillor Rask,
Yes.
Councillor Burns,
Yes.
Councillor Pogwizd,
Tim, yes.
Councillor Lovendall, Councillor Brennan,
Yes.
Councillor Webb.
Webb, yes.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next item, which is Resolution 2602, correcting a previous resolution to extend workers' comp coverage to city volunteers. So I'll turn this over to either Melissa or Joseph to explain.
This is pretty straightforward. The ones that we had put in were based on old language when our coverage ran through CIS, which is our regular insurance for many things for the city, whereas now our workman's comp actually runs through SAFE. And so it's just changing that to, the protocol isn't different. It's the same protocol, which is written out, that they just need to write who's going to be volunteering and for what and when. And then that needs to be turned in, about 2 weeks before the project is going to happen so that we can make sure that those volunteers are covered. But it's not on CIS coverage anymore, it's SAFE.
So I move to approve resolution 2026-02.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just have a question about this.
Mhm.
Does this cover like commissioners that go out or anybody that doesn't, like the Rotary, are they covered by their own insurance or do they get covered by ours if they do a project for us?
If they do a project for us and it's under our information, then they would need to do this, yes.
Right.
If they, are just doing something on their own, obviously they wouldn't.
Okay.
You have to sign up for this.
You have to sign
basically,
up, yeah.
first. You have to come and tell Melissa you're going to do a project. So
For the
like,
city,
Right.
and then we would do this part of it.
Yeah.
And it is commissioners who are out, if you're like, right now, that's why we have you folks put down your hours as well, so that we know, because you're volunteering.
Okay. So it's commissioners, it's council members, it's, because I've not done it in the years I've been on this or the planning, but,
Well, it's assumed with the planning people that, so if you were here and you were doing something and you fell down and hurt yourself, then you would be covered because you're volunteering at your meetings, basically. But if you go out to do something, then we would want to know that.
okay, because I'm thinking about there's groups that take it upon themselves to like go clean up around the park without, it's not something
ad
that
hoc,
we've
right?
asked, we haven't asked them to do it. They just, like the pickleball people,
Uh-huh.
take it upon them, take it upon themselves to clean up the area.
Right. And that's, so we wouldn't cover them if something happened to them because they didn't let us know about it. We don't know what they're doing. That's just, people out doing their own
Recreational
thing.
immunity.
Yeah, that kind of falls under recreational immunity to some extent, but
Yeah.
so if they want that coverage from the city and they have a time when they're going to go do that, to say they need to come and let us know that, then this would fall into it. But yeah, if someone just goes and, is on a walk at the park and happens to pick up some trash, but we don't know about that, then they would not be covered under this.
And
For
then
your CIS, go ahead, Gary.
I was just wondering about when I cut the gorse down in the raised lot.
You should come and have us know about that, which is why we did the whole cleanup and then everyone was going to do it all together and do the cleanup, because that was when the event was held. So it would be good though if you knew, okay, next week or in 2 weeks, I know I'm going to go clean this up, to come let us know that so that you would be
Well, the
covered
whole
under that, but you need
idea-
to let us know.
Because that,
That was the whole point of getting a
Well-
whole group together to go do it. So that we knew.
CIS has tightened this up. It used to be a lot looser. And yes, back in the day, people could volunteer and they were covered. But CIS has tightened that up and they want to know who, when, and where, pretty much. And it's just because, we're just in a more that, you know, people sue.
More litigious.
More litigious, yep.
And I kind of figured I got help, I've got insurance, so that would be on me is what I figured I was doing that.
I mean, most people,
I wouldn't tell my insurance company that I fell down cleaning up the city homeless camp, or your insurance company might sue the city's insurance company, or, you know,
But there wouldn't be any need of saying where I got injured.
you understand what my point is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you want coverage, then you need to let us know, and it needs to be an official
And if that's not an
thing, approved
issue,
event, yes.
And then I think it almost approves, like, well, I guess you can commission volunteer groups. I mean, it would be, I think it would need to be an act of the board to approve a project that was funded by, I don't know. It don't matter. Let's keep moving.
I don't think so. I think
I think-
Melissa
I
has
think
the
If they
judgment.
let me know, and if that's part of operations, to say that they're doing something.
A lot of these things are pretty like, you know, group cleaning out the bioswale, somebody cleaning up the park, the watershed council helping with the, there are things that,
I've seen
one-on-one
things that have
cleanup.
troubled me a little bit.
Yeah.
People weed eating on city grounds without proper protection, things like that. I've seen that recently. And that's the type of thing that, like, I know full well that those people are supposed to be trained with the equipment that they're using, with the proper safety equipment provided. And when I see that that's not happening, then it makes me wonder how tight we really are watching what's going on. And they're tightening up because of the world we live in, and we can certainly not afford any more expenses.
Right.
Run it up. Yes.
okay, well, with that, I'm going to call for the vote. Counselor Brennan,
Yes.
Counselor Rask,
Yes.
Counselor Lovendall,
Yes.
Counselor Webb,
Webb, yes.
Counselor Burns,
yes.
Counselor Pogwizd.
Tim, yes.
Okay. So we are moving on to item 8C, which is a logo proposal.
Water recycling feasibility.
Now, how come that's not?
I don't know, it's here.
Oh, okay, it's not on this agenda that is the front agenda. That's why I was wondering, where was that? Okay.
Yeah.
It's not on the actual agenda, which I'm following.
Sorry.
So we'll go to, thank you. Yeah, I was sort of thinking that, like,
Yeah.
where was that water recycling feasibility study?
That's why you follow that one and I follow this one, and we make a good team.
That's right,
Oh, yeah,
excellent.
right.
Okay,
So-
yes, so Civil West has almost finished the feasibility study for the effluent pipeline. I mean, it's pretty much done. The draft is completed. Melissa and I had a chance to review it, and then we have sent it over to Business Oregon for their review. And the next step is going to be to share it with council, which I think we can do as soon as we see it. And I'll just say in short, it pretty much says that water recycling is feasible if it's worth the cost of doing it. So I think the next steps for us related to that, I'll just mention, is that the council review the feasibility study. And then that the feasibility study is pretty much to talk about, what would it take to do water recycling, including the proposal that's been put forth by Elk River Property Development. And then we need to schedule a work session specifically on that topic to discuss. And I think the things that would be good to discuss at that work session is really to have people digest the feasibility study, but then also think about what would it take if the matter is that it's feasible at worth what cost. What would it take for you as a counselor? What do you think the city? What's going to make it worth the while for the city to do this? Let's put it that way.
Is there a county economic development? Is there a county economic development department right now?
I don't know.
Chamber, they kind of have the Chamber of
Well, I'm
Commerce.
just wondering if that would be something that we might want to consider partnering with the county on, because the county will benefit tax base wise more than the city will. And they might want to partner with us to help us in that direction, if that's the direction that we want to go.
Yeah, and I think that the first, to my mind, the first thing that we want to do is we want to decide what we want to do rather than, so I think that's the first step. And so, and then after that comes, other steps. Would be my thought.
Good, yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, so as soon as we get that finalized finalized the review by Business Oregon, thank you, and get that finalized, we can send it out, and then we can post it up ahead of the next meeting. We can, adopt it or whatever. And then in terms of scheduling a work session on it, I don't know when we want to do that. We didn't really talk about that ahead of time. If we want to schedule that for sometime in November.
How many pages is a feasibility study?
50 some odd.
Yeah, it's 50 or 60.
Not
It's
terrible.
not too long.
Nothing terrible, okay.
No,
Not terrible?
and it's not too long and it's
Okay.
not too technical. And I'll just tell you honestly, it leads to the next step, which is that the feasibility study looks at the potential for recycling water, but a next step is going to be that they have to go down and really do an evaluation of the wastewater treatment facility. As John explained, that has not been completed yet. As John explained, it was a couple weekends ago, they had a major blowout. And so there's a lot of things that have to be assessed that will go into assessing kind of costs. That's like yet to be determined. So that's kind of part of a larger process, just putting it out there.
We were never supposed to have, that was going to be on them, all of it. I'm really surprised that we've made it this far with that change.
Well, that is, if you recall, that is what the process that we're in is, that we have to identify the things, and that has to be done through an engineering process. And that's what we're using the 754 to help us line up what those things are, and hopefully to start getting some of those things done.
And that'll be part of the agreement with them.
Yeah.
Originally, there was going to be no expense to the city.
That's what we have to make sure. Yeah.
That was the original.
Yeah.
That's how it made progress, was
Yeah.
with that in mind. So,
Well, that's what we're still, I'm still hoping for that.
well, I
Still working in that direction.
It can still
well,
be
I
that
can see that we're spending $750,000 on a study.
Yeah.
And even though it may not be our money exactly, but I'm just saying that
Yeah.
we just want to be sure that
That's what I was kind of getting at the previous meeting, that is really important, that we just don't create a mess for the city down the road that we can't afford.
the biggest mess is the golf links when they're built. How do you provide services to them? That's always kind of been my perspective. While it might be beneficial to the tax base, how you annexation, it's huge. You can go anywhere with that. But anyway.
Well, these are the things that I think it's really important to start thinking about, because I think, we've known we have to have this conversation, and we wanted it to be informed, and feasibility study gives us more information. There's more information to come, but these are the things that we as counselors, you as counselors, need to really start thinking about, so that when we come, we can be thinking about, I've started to think about it in terms of like the city government. There's some very specific things about, our costs and all that stuff. There's the community sentiment. There's different pieces of it. What Brett was just saying, what does it do in the future? We're thinking about the present, but we also have to be thinking long term. So lots of things to consider. And I know many of us have already been thinking about them for a long time, but it might be time to organize your thoughts, make some notes, and, just start thinking about it so we can have a productive conversation. Okay. And with that, I will turn it over, and we didn't schedule that. And let me just look at the calendar. Our next city council meeting is going to be on, let's see. Yeah, the 20th of November. So I don't know if want to have, try to have a work session before that? Or should we wait to see when we get this report out? We could tentatively schedule one
Like the
for,
week before.
yeah, like maybe with the 13th, the week before. Is that going to make it, I know it's always hard to have an extra meeting, but if it's just a work session, presumably.
I think that should be okay. Let me double check the city calendar to make sure the chambers are open.
We could tentatively schedule it for that day or pencil it in, and presuming that we will be able to turn this thing around and get it out to you relatively soon. And somehow if there's a delay, if Business Oregon comes back and says, well, we need to do X, Y, and Z, there may be a little bit more back and forth.
Should be free.
Okay, so let's schedule it for the 13th at 5:30. And we might send out a few more questions or an agenda or something to help us organize thoughts ahead of that. Okay, so now I will turn it over to you, Melissa.
Okay. The community center has been very much a bright spot in these last number of months. It's been awesome. If you can, we should probably take a field trip over there to peek in. It's lovely. One of the things that in the design has come up is over the main door is like a medallion, a space that was there to kind of brighten up the front. And I have heard since I've been here the frustration with the current logos. There's older ones that are kind of a colored pencil drawing that you can see on the side of the public works trucks. There's the rectangular one that has a lighthouse in it, and I hear all about there's no lighthouse in the city of Port Orford. And so as we were doing this, it came up that it would probably be good to come up with something for that, and also just to kind of market the town a little bit better. And so I've been working with a gentleman out of Pistol River. His name is Trevor. He has Giant Thirst Designs. He's worked with many different groups around here. Our Jubilee Committee used him. Some things have been done through Pacific High School has used many of his designs, and lots of local groups. So worked with him, kind of gave a vision, and have been going back and forth with him about it. I will hold some of them up. Basically, we wanted to highlight the view at Battle Rock. So that's one of our most eye-catching, glorious things about this town, which is in the town. And so I will bring these over to these other fellas.
Photograph these and send them over. I'll send them over to Deanna. Is this, do that? You do.
Oh,
Send it over to
sure.
Councilor Brennan.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, she can, we're gonna zoom them in here.
Great.
So so it started out kind of with the general design that the other one had, as far as looking out past Battle Rock and out to the rocks and to Humbug and all of that. First one, and we will do more to look at, I'll try to hold it real still, Joseph, there we go. This one it says curved text at the top. This keeps everything together on the logo itself. It has Port Orford across the bottom. At this point, we were talking about, what font we want and things like that. So there's still tweaks that can happen, and we would like to get your opinions on it, as well as we'll have a way for citizens to talk to us about it. But they have that's one that's all one concise logo on the oval. Another one has information across, similar logo, similar font, but it goes out across the bottom. We talked about, because these will be going as big stickers on our public works vehicles and things like that, we didn't know if those would be able to be picked off or something like that on these edges, but that is similar. This is one with just a different font. Again, these would be on information like on our sweatshirts, on our letterheads, things like that. So it would need to be able to be shrunk down while keeping that same woodcut kind of look to it. Okay. And then those are all the ones that are just two colors. And finally, he suggested one that's in full color that could go on our, and any of them could be turned into this full color situation. So that was what we have been going back and forth about. So again, ideas of font and things, we're still very open to that, but I wanted to show you kind of the progress. I believe that on the community building, we had talked about doing maybe a metal sign that would be one of the ones that would probably be just a 2-color with white behind it with the blue color in front of it, so you could hopefully see it, or, you know, see it okay from the street, or even zoom in more on, say, Battle Rock, something that would be bigger that you could see from the street. So
So this would be like for law enforcement uniforms and everything, or
not law enforcement uniforms. They have their own
they have their own?
patch and things now that wouldn't necessarily need to be changed. This would be mostly for just city business to make sure that there is sort of a visual on the-
Stationary.
yes, things like, yeah, business cards, things like that. So it has to be something that can be shrunk down while still being able to kind of ascertain what it is. And
Locked,
I can
right.
show you,
Yeah.
and I can show you all the iterations. Again, Trevor has been amazing to work with. You know, we had other visions of it at the start. I'll just give one example where there was a sun, you know, that had lines across the top. And then you realize, well, no, this faces due south. So the sun doesn't set there. So if you're going to be mad about the lighthouse, then you probably don't want a sunset where it would never set. So out it went. So we've been working and trying to get lots of people's opinions on these things as they go
The
through.
moon.
It could be the moon, very true. But anyway, it's been really good.
I
So
like that. Tim and I like the one with the curves.
you like it with the curve? Yeah.
No, I didn't think I would, but seeing it, I like it. It looks cleaner having the city up right
And
in
it's
the middle
all
of Port
contained in
Orford.
the,
Yeah, I like that one.
Which one's
Actually,
that?
that's my.
They like the ones that has
That's-
that has the
it seems
curve within
cleaner
it. It seems
to me.
cleaner. Okay. This font that's on this particular one, I have heard that people don't really like that. They don't like the curve of the R. That it's maybe not as
We like the colored one over here.
We like I like it inside,
Mhm.
We
but
like
maybe this.
Yeah, that font.
In.
oh,
this
right, with
font.
the curvy.
Is it the same?
that is the font that's in that one.
No,
That
No.
Which means this font.
Is different than this font.
This
Oh,
font.
it is.
oh, I see. Right. Okay. So you like the curvy kicky R in this one.
No, we don't like the curvy.
This font in that picture,
Oh,
No.
in the
The
curve,
other way.
that font.
Like it all in one.
Hmm.
This is my opinion.
Okay. No, this is why we want it.
Colored, but this font in here,
Okay.
this,
Mhm.
All caps.
this font in. this
Right.
you want to register?
Isn't that like
Got it.
And those are a
yelling?
little thicker white.
Thicker and it's more, it stands out and it's kind of more modern.
Okay.
That's just
Okay.
my opinion.
Yeah.
I like the other one, but I don't like, the problem with, I don't like the way that, because the words Port and Orford are not equal,
Mm,
it kind of makes it a little
It's not off center.
off center, which I don't know how to
I
solve
see
that, but it would almost like have to be
Mhm.
less of a space, or I don't know how to, that's a question for a graphic artist, not me.
I like this one. I think that the city name really pops out on this guy. And I like that.
It doesn't really center either, but it doesn't seem as obtrusive as,
On the circle, you're.
yeah.
Do you see how difficult this is? So all of you have had a different opinion about what you want to have to.
Sensitivities.
Exactly.
But then there's
Exactly.
not 42 of them.
So we will sort of pull together and ask for more people's opinions on it. So more people like it all on one, though. This side of the house likes this, and this side of the house likes it sticking out.
No, I like it inside.
I think we all.
Everybody wants it inside, but you
I
want,
don't like it
Very.
inside. I'm different.
Harry doesn't like it inside.
okay,
We like it, but.
okay.
We
Okay.
need to see them, like if we get it down to 2 or 3, we need them all to be in color.
Right.
Because
That's a good point.
That-
personally, I think we all like the color one. We're hooked up a little bit on the font. So if we have 2 or 3 fonts we think we like as a group, if they were all color, I think we could choose between those.
Yeah, and
I
he,
don't like the color.
Oh, you don't like the color?
No, I know.
Oh, But
So-
there's an
I'm prepared to lose that battle, though.
but there's an opportunity to have that black and white logo where we see fit.
absolutely, and many of them will be the two-tone ones.
That would be more.
When you shrink it down.
Least
Right,
expensive
yeah.
and most, it has the woodcut look, which I think is cool and it's just super simple and
Right.
elegant.
And so, yes, we would have whichever logo we end up with, we would have the option of doing it in color and also with these. He just didn't want to take the time to color all of these with all the different fonts.
Right.
So when we get to the final now, I will have probably 3 that are all in color and then also all just the 2. And then we can put them side by side with a couple different fonts that we hear, and then we'll.
Counselor
You guys can
Brandon,
arm
did you
wrestle.
want to weigh in on this since we're all,
I was gonna say, I'll try to come in tomorrow and take a look at them in person,
Okay.
okay.
if that works.
So,
Cool. Well, thank you so much for weighing into that, Melissa. That's like one of those things that I know was not on your list to do, but then it kind of rose to the surface given the need to deal with the building. And it's going to be a cool thing, I
yeah,
think.
so,
And so what is the opportunity for public input if people have, because I mean, I do think this is, I mean, as you say, and as we've said, like everybody in town could have a different opinion, and yet, I mean, sometimes there is an like arching thing, and it might be good to get public opinion. What is the method what are you thinking about for getting public opinion? Or is there a way people can weigh in if they wanted to let you know?
So if people, I guess what I was thinking, as simple as, when we have the meeting for the feasibility study, if there's people want to be here, if we could have up in our offices or bring it into here that everyone gets a dot and can go put it on the one that they really like. So if they come here, they could do that. We could do something like I hate to do like a Survey Monkey or something like that that's just up, because then it's not the people of Port Orford necessarily who would be the ones voting on it. Anybody would be able to just vote, and which is fine, I suppose. But again, I have found that people have big feelings about such things. And so I want to make sure that our citizens have the voice. So
Could they, once we get the ones done, could they be posted in the lobby of City Hall if people wanted to come and take a look and maybe
Right.
have a little, I don't know, box where somebody could write their comment in? Or
Sure.
something like that?
yeah,
I'm just
we'll
trying to
figure
figure
something
out-
out. We'll put them up in the vestibule. So if people want to come and say what they like, they could, we'll get their opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
But
it's
I
just-
think we're going to go low tech, not high tech, and push it out to everybody or have something like that. Let's just,
Okay.
if people want to come do it, they can,
Or not.
or just say, no, it looks great, and then be done with it.
Can't wait to hear what we.
Yeah, I know. I'm torn between like, don't make it more complicated, but also just recognizing that this is something that everybody in the community gets, that we all, it's part of our identity as a community. And
What
it's
if we
things
get
we'll see.
through some semifinalists and then ask for their input, A, B, or C?
Right, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Just get the A, B, or C, because I think I've heard from a lot of people that just the basic background with the rock and the ocean and all that stuff seems to resonate with the people that I've talked to. So I think that's good. It's just now kind of the final push with particular fonts and particular things. So thank you.
I think it's looking good.
Appreciate that. And I also have over here the colors and things that are going into the community building. So we've been able to talk with them about that. It's all sided and it looks really,
That
really
concrete
sharp.
poured out front
The
is
concrete's
good.
poured out front. The fellas over there have been working really hard. It's been a great project. We meet now weekly to go over these things. And
They've
so
been
the
getting
sheetrock's
up.
up and all that. So we're kind of getting towards the end of all of that. So it's lovely. It's going to be a beautiful spot, and we're working on how people can rent that out and at what cost and how to do those things. Because I've already had some people reach out wanting to rent it. So that's wonderful.
I was in there yesterday and it's just amazing.
You went inside?
Of course, having seen it before,
Yeah.
it's lots more amazing.
The most amazing thing is that it's
I
warm.
went
Inside,
inside,
yeah.
and it's just really nice.
Yeah, and it's
So
actually
full of
insulated.
light.
Yeah, it's actually insulated, so it's warm
Yeah.
and the wind isn't whipping through the siding into the
Yeah,
building. It's kind of a
Amazing.
fun change of pace. I like it.
And the guys who've been working on it are just really great. I kind of feel
Fabulous.
like they
Mhm.
should,
We need to
become
recognize them.
honorary citizens of Port Orford. They're really cool. And
Or we could
Wonderful
give them a
people.
paycheck.
yes, they
We'll do
are.
that.
We're working on that. And we're working on that too, just kind of to making sure that all the money's
Yes, that's good.
lining up
That's a
here
good
at the
thing.
end. So anyway, okay.
Indeed.
So with that, I think we are on to citizen considerations. So at this time, are there any citizens who wish to make a public comment? There's no one in council chambers. Is anybody online? Okay, hearing none, I will ask if city staff have any things they would like to share with us? Chief? No?
No from chief.
Okay. Anybody? What?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Any counselor members, would you like to offer considerations? Okay, Counselor Burns?
I just got this idea of seeing what the council thought about having a student representative for the council.
Ooh.
If it would be worth even just, I could look into it and talk to Aaron Miller and then come back with a proposal if it seemed like even something worth investigating. I could see if other schools do it and how they do it. And
What would their function be? I mean, would it be more for this?
it'd just be open.
Would it be more for their benefit than ours? I mean, it would be.
It could go both ways.
Sure,
would-
but is the
it-
idea to expose them or for them to bring us information about the school?
Could be both.
They're just non-voting members of the board.
Yeah. But they could actually be voted in at the school maybe, or I don't know.
It's a great idea.
They, what I've seen before, and I assume you mean at least middle school and high schoolers, not littler, but perhaps, is they already have their ASB or their associated student body. So they might have a communications representative already in their board for
body
the school, the
government.
student body government. So they might already kind of have that piece taken care of, or maybe it's the president or whoever they decide to do it, to have that representative. So I've seen that work well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. My son was the Oregon representative for the national student body people, and they flew them all over the country. And
Oh, cool.
there's a lot of big stuff going on there that,
It's a good experience for the kid.
yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
I think
like
it's,
it.
I
They
think
learned to stay away from being on the city council.
Well, that's,
no, we'd have to all try to convince them to join the city council, inspire them
We'll
to
have
be
to
on
be
it
on
in
our
the
best
future.
behavior.
I don't know that Werther's is going to work for that.
You never know. Werther's are pretty powerful things. Counselor Webb.
I think it's a great idea to investigate, and as long as it doesn't, kind of add to the staff time for us. We were for a while doing field trips and stuff with school, which was pretty cool, but I think that kind of I don't exactly understand why that ended, but I think it might have had to do with, staffing
other things
things,
I think that would be
other
cool if
priorities.
that person, that representative could give a report to the council.
It could be like a
report.
liaison
Yeah.
type thing, or
Because we haven't been real good about sending our liaison to the school and stuff. I mean, maybe we could be better. Maybe we've been trying real hard. From my perspective, it looks like not a whole lot's happened there.
Yeah.
Over the years, and maybe that's a way to
To do
that
it.
is the biggest government that encompasses us. So the biggest,
So consensus is that's a good idea, it sounds like, Gary. So thank you
Cool.
for
Yeah, good idea.
thinking about it. Any other counselor considerations? No? Okay, mayor considerations. I just want to thank you all for continuing to serve and pitch in, and I want to thank our staff for all they do for us. And is there anything else you want to say?
I
before
just
we end?
hit me that actually I want to say thank you to you particularly, because I see you a lot, but around. So it's Happy Bosses Day. And so you're all the bosses of me. So thank you. And we appreciate your leadership in this, and particularly Mayor Ann, who's here quite a lot. Yeah, we get a lot of things done. So thank you for that. So Happy Bosses Day.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Okay, with that, we are going to adjourn this meeting at 6:37.
this has got to be a record.
Thank you.
This has got to be a record.
So impressed. So impressed.
Thanks, Dan.